All right, Kiss Army, welcome to the KissFAQ podcast. Thank you for giving us your time today and letting us into your head. I hope we don't do any damage. This is a Kiss-related podcast by the board, for the board. We hope that you enjoy.
All right, welcome to episode 472 of the KissFAQ podcast. We are live, and we're going to be talking about prized positions, not prized possessions. Let's be abundantly clear. That has nothing to do with it, because the pink one is going to be coming into the conversation at some point. Straight off, top of the show, thank you for joining us live, number one. Number two, a quick update on Mask Hysteria, proof number 2. Look at that. It's actually trimmed properly. That cover actually looks good. My spreadsheet, which tells me where I'm at with each chapter in terms of writing, where applicable, putting together, tells me I'm 93.88% magically complete.
Wow.
You're close. Close.
I'm very close. I did put a blast out for some assistance in the realms of Australia. Aussies, thank you. You guys stepped up something fierce and got me over that line, that blocking issue. I need the Germans and the French to also do the same. Yeah, I got a few blocking issues. Yeah, surprisingly on Germany. There is just not a lot that made it out into my collection folders, or even from the press cuttings and clippings from the band. I do have some of those files, plenty of memos. But this isn't just a book of just memos, because they have to have a purpose in order to be shown.
Yeah.
So it's kind of interesting from that perspective that they didn't bother as much. There was way more Dutch stuff in the Eric Carr files and the press cuttings from that perspective than there was Germany or France. So regional, local newspapers, ticket stubs, that kind of stuff. I translate all that stuff through AI Translate and, then turn it into something readable. With a little bit of editing. So if you've got cuttings from local German newspapers throughout all 3 sections of the tour, they are very much welcomed. And I did go to Kiss Fan Shop. They've had some stuff up on their site for well over a decade, probably decades now. It's really not that useful. Neither is the stuff from all the German mainstream magazines, Rocky Pop, all that stuff, Rennbaum Express for Austria. It's just not got the sort of coverage I need locally. So Aussies, thank you. Hopefully I'll probably put an update out on that, but I'm really close. And again, the downside to all of this is, even in the period of, how long have I been working on this? 18 months. Print costs have gone up 40%. Ooh. So if you bought Magic and you think that fucker is going to print Magic at that price, no way. No freaking way is Magic happening. Just what has happened in the last month. All my books on Amazon, a lot of them went into negative with the print cost increases.
Wow.
You're muted, thank goodness, Ken. Because I saw you grumbling.
Yeah, because I was like, what the?
Yeah, it's that bad now in terms of economics that I've had to raise the prices on my books, which are all black and white, and for Mask Hysteria, which is color. I just dread it. But to think of what Magic was supposed to be, full color, glossy, none of that is feasible now, and I know that for fact because I have my own pricing for similar size product. Mask Hysteria is 240 pages, all color.
Nice.
There is black and white in that memos are black and white, but in terms of every single page has a color component, whether it's a background, whether it's an element around the border. In terms of someone who was doing it professionally, I'm not even going to say professionally because that's absolute fucking bullshit. Someone who was No, someone who was trying to do something on a grander scope. I'm not doing it professionally because I don't have an in designer doing this all after the fact because that's just not affordable. The economics aren't there. So there we go. Mark, you got a new T-shirt. What the hell
what's
are
with
you
that?
wearing today? What is that?
Well,
Bob
What
Ezrin?
have you done? Have you come to the dark side and you're going to start singing Flaming Youth?
Well, okay, I was on Kiss on. Remember, I told you guys that I was on Kiss Online, and that day that they released the Alive 3, and I was saying that I was looking, and there was nothing there. There was nothing there, and I got annoyed, and I just decided to buy a shirt. Well, this is the shirt that I bought. This is the Spirit of 76 tour shirt, right?
Destroyer tour.
He's come over to us.
Interesting.
He finally got a Bob Ezrin approved T-shirt. Marcus Almighty is finally a full member of the Kiss Army.
I am not fully on board with the album, but I did enjoy the tour. I have to admit, I do have some of the the shows that leaked from there, like from that tour. So I really enjoyed it. So so I just decided to get myself a shirt, and it was on sale too at the time, and I needed another shirt, and hey, I'll be getting more Kiss shirts, and they're not going to be old Destroyer shirts, so don't worry. I mean, hey, I have a gold album, thanks to a certain somebody here on this board. That's a Destroyer, thing as well. So, like I said, I don't hate Ezrin as a producer, but I do dislike him when he's involved with Kiss. Let's just put it that way.
And you did qualify your purchase by saying that it was on sale.
Yes.
Ken, you bought anything this week?
I received something yesterday. The Spinning Gold movie. So I'm gonna watch it and see how much I'm gonna probably rip it apart. But it's not going to be total accurate or anything. But hopefully, it's enjoyable. If nothing,
don't rip it apart on its accuracy. or
it's not going to be. Yeah,
just trying to enjoy it as a movie that is a love letter from a son to a deceased father. Just take it for that and enjoy some of the soundtrack, or go play the original versions of those songs, because again, Spinning Gold tries to tell a story. I was actually listening to some interesting Neil Bogart stuff this week, an interview that he did for a magazine article, and also his appearance on the Tomorrow Show. He was actually an interesting guy on one of the interviews. It sounds like he's just smoking dope all the way through it. So, he's choking, smoke choking, and taking hit. Either that or he's doing bongs. So, again, what he did for the music industry is without a doubt worthy, along with all those other great, record industry figures that have not been recognized in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, who are so busy falling over themselves to induct rappers. So, good purchase. I look forward to seeing that, and then we'll have to do a show with our thoughts on it. Once it's on streaming, I have no intention of spending $25 on a Blu-ray DVD combo. No chance. Not when I can buy freaking Aerosmith cassettes.
Oh yeah, and what was that album that you got that got damaged there in the post? What was that? Perry?
That was the new Joe Perry album. I've already got a digital, but it was that good.
Where are you about to buy it? Okay.
Yeah, it's the Mark II release of Switzerland Manifesto, and he put that out in 2018, and he's kept 4 songs and put 6 new ones on, some of which date back to then, and some of which date back to 2005, and it is really, really strong. It's got stuff with the guys from Extreme. Black Crowes.
Nice.
David Johansen, Dolls, Terry Reid, who was nearly Led Zeppelin's lead singer.
Nice.
Crazy.
Because Jimmy Page went after him for the new Yardbirds. So it is really strong, and there's a shit ton of guitars. So enough about that. This is a Kiss podcast. I've done 3 Aerosmith. I've done 3 Aerosmith podcasts of late, so it's all a bit on the brain while I try and finish that book as well. So this week, obviously the title of this episode is Prized Positions.
Mm.
Vinnie Vincent basically posted on his super secret members only Facebook group on May the 23rd a complete love fest about a singer who had apparently worked with him at his most recent event, allegedly, purportedly attended by a grand total of 6 people.
Okay.
Wow.
He was gushing about this singer, Scott Broad. And then 2 days later, he disavowed all knowledge of calling him exactly what he had just said, that it's so proud to be working with him as his singer. And then the next one is, well, we actually haven't appointed a singer to that prized position. Is there any prized position in terms of the Vinnie Vincent realm? Mark, what was your take on all that drama and bullshit?
I'm not in the least bit surprised. I was actually shocked when I read the fact that he actually had a singer at first. I was like, whoa, so this is actually going to happen. For a microsecond there, I was like, we're going to actually get new Vinnie Vincent stuff. This is like something to, like, write in your calendar that there's going to be something coming out, But then sure enough, if there's one thing that Vinnie is consistent with is disappointment. Sometimes like Kiss. But the one thing that Vinnie tends to always do is get our hopes up and then smash it to pieces. And, I don't feel so bad for myself or for, Ken or you or the good listeners of the podcast. I feel bad for the singer because let's not kid ourselves. He probably thought to himself, okay, well, this is a pretty good opportunity. It is Vinnie Vincent. It's not like he's playing with Kiss, but still, it's a known name. It would have been a known situation. It would have had eyes on it. And maybe it would have been something that he could have, leapfrogged off of into picking up his career and maybe gotten into something better even from it, right? But having it given to you and then taken away like that is the absolute worst fucking feeling that can happen, okay? I've had it happen to me once. Okay, it wasn't a very good feeling, and it wasn't in a band situation. It was about a record label thing where we were so close to getting into one record label, and at the last minute, it was like, they had their own internal office reasons why, which is bullshit. But anyways, when that kind of shit happens, it's terrible. So my heart goes out to him. That kind of shit happened, and Vinnie. You're a piece of crap for doing that. Okay, that's my message to you.
Yeah, just another victim. You know what? At this point, I just think it's shame on anyone who has anything to do with this putz, because it's just a rinse and repeat of the same old every single time. Oh, I've got a few more tweaks to make on this album. Oh, just a few more tweaks. It went out to pressing how long ago? And now they're reposting the same pictures. Who the fuck do you think you're kidding? And respect to Derek. Derek took a lot of shit for everything that went down afterwards with Memphis, the Graceland thing, which, I've still got that poster framed up on my wall. But he did actually manage to bring Vinnie Vincent back, deliver him onto stage. Andy, as well, for the Miami event, managed to, Vinnie, if you look back through some of those podcast episodes, managed to make Vinnie do what he was supposed to do. But now it just seems to be enabling someone who I don't want to dial up Dr. Google and even talk about any of that side of shit, because it's clear the dude has issues and he has my empathy. And I wish him serenity and happiness. But I think if anyone's trying to weasel money out of people for ego trips of calling themselves anything connected with this guy, then it's like applying for the captain position on the Titanic after the fucking thing sank. It's like, why do you even want to be associated with that? What are you getting out of this? What is your personal gain when this guy is just incapable of delivering anything, let alone the truth? Ken, what was your take on it?
Yeah, it wasn't at all surprising. I feel sorry for the singer. I really do. Like Mark said, just basically almost being told that I guess you had the gig and then it's pulled, the rug's pulled out from underneath you, that sort of thing. Yeah, I think anyone at this point, if you want to work with Vinnie Vincent, expect to be burned in one way or another by him. I don't take anything for granted. You just cannot with him. And that includes the fans, I think, too. Uh, it's
Yeah.
just it's just another, notch or story or what do you want to call it in Vinny's world where he promises something and then turns around and totally changes the story. I think I don't know. I think he must have some kind of bipolar thing going on, or I don't know what. It's just really, really strange, and it's kind of it's sad, but it's sure I wouldn't want to have anything to do with working with him because of all that's happened in the past.
It's just the absolute chutzpah to post a gushing, and that is the voice of Vinny who's posting it. It's not like it's some fan posting it. That is the voice. That is Mr. Asshole Sunglasses himself posting it. And then coming back a couple of days later, well, the position, that prize position, what a fucking prize position. Who are you kidding? This putz hasn't put out any music since Euphoria, the EP. Speedball Jam does not fucking count because that's like a cat vomiting. Untracked at that. So don't tell us that he's put out any music since Euphoria because Speedball Jam is not music. I bought it.
The position was standing straight up, and then the next day it was bend over. It's like give me a break.
Yeah, so it's really sad because Vinny was a talented songwriter in 1982, 1983 with the music that he brought to Kiss. I think he was talented with All Systems Go and the melodic rock that he was doing with that album. There's some good stuff on Invasion as well. But other than that, what has he done with his life? I mean, it's like a Twisted Sister video. Tell me, what do you want to do with your life? It's such a waste of a talent as well, which really bothers me when you think of some of the unreleased stuff that has circulated over the years. And now they're not even able to do it at SIR. What, did they get evicted from there? It's like, don't come back.
Well, you never know.
Didn't pay your bill.
With him involved, you never know what could have happened or what happened behind the scenes. But it's just crazy that I'm just so how many more chances at bat is this guy going to get? That's the thing that I'm curious about. I mean,
well, if that number of 6 people attending is accurate, then his numbers are not rapidly. They're declining with each one slowly. Of these events. Every 6 months, it seems to be, it's sad. I haven't seen him announced as a guest at too many of these Comic-Con type things either. So, that seems to have fallen by the wayside. What has he made himself unwelcome there? Is he making himself unwelcome at Nashville area studios? If they're charging $500 per person and 6 people show up, that's $3,000. How are you covering your costs of renting a studio? Paying for catering, paying for staff, paying for security, paying for some fucking liability insurance because I don't want to hold any public event without some liability. What are you walking home with?
Yeah.
What is the fucking point as even a pretend business?
Maybe that's what happened at SIR. Maybe he's like, yeah, just give me a second. I'm going to go to the car to get my wallet and I'll pay you. And then he took off, and that was that.
Screeching tires.
Well, like Andy tells the story of shouting at Vinny to keep signing because that was in the contract. It's like he didn't want to sign posters. Vinny, you're signing the posters. I mean, you gotta love Andy. You're gonna fucking sign those things.
Good on him that he did that.
Yeah, but that is what a nightmare I guess he is. And I don't have any firsthand knowledge of any of this stuff. I bought tickets to the Graceland event. It got canceled.
Yeah.
I got a refund. Apparently some people didn't. And it's just particularly pathetic. So spin Lick It Up, spin All Systems Go, spin Euphoria, whatever floats your boat, spin Treasure, for that matter.
Yeah.
Hey, I like Treasure. Innocent
Yeah.
Eyes, come on. That is just pop perfection. That's really cool stuff. And especially when he was more in a Bexian kind of mode guitar-wise in terms of his melodic playing, before he kind of really went all over for the whammy bar, and the histrionics, which does have a place in music. I'm not saying it doesn't either. So
Sure.
should we move on to happier topics?
Yeah.
Because there clearly is no prize position when it comes to anything Kiss related. All right, today's news was more shows were announced. One got unannounced pretty quickly. A couple of shows were also announced in the last week. Melbourne, or not Melbourne, because they decided they didn't want to see Kiss again. So the Australian show went to Sydney. Good on you, Sydney. 83,000 capacity venue. I see a Guinness World Record for the largest venue curtain ever made.
Yes.
Curtain off some of the unsold sections of that. If they can pack even 2/3 of that stadium in Sydney, which might take some creative ticket pricing, that would be
seat fillers.
Hey, it doesn't matter. They're going to have to. They're already papering the house in the UK for next week's tour. I mean, it's about to kick off. Plymouth has been cancelled. It was a shit location to begin with. I was going to go. I'm glad I didn't, because there's also a fucking strike tomorrow, which would have been a nightmare. Every time I've come home to England in the last 18 months, there's been a strike, and it's really buggered things up, which has been horrendous. They're like 2-for-1, 4-to-1 ticket sales for UK shows, and they're announcing a stadium in Australia for a one-off. Is it, Ken? They announced Dubai.
I can't believe
I know.
that.
I knew this was coming, and I couldn't say anything. And I'm like, holy shit. They announced another Dubai show. What about Haifa? What about Tel Aviv?
I have to say something, though. I have to say this, and I know the people watching are thinking the same thing. The nerve to do this, okay? The balls, the absolute gull to go and book a date in Dubai after the complete shit show that was the last time they did that. I mean, do they have no shame? Seriously, at this point, I'm really thinking that. Do they have no shame at all in this? I mean, I know they're trying to cash out, as you say, you're cashing out, now. But really, I mean, are they? Has all respect for their fan base gone like out the window with these guys now? I mean, you haven't taken care of things that happened in the first time that Dubai happened. Now you're going to go and book this now. I'm absolutely flabbergasted.
Well, they are trying to take care of people, and they have been taking care of people, as much as they can, I guess. So that's happening, but it's still the whole thing from the start. It shouldn't have taken this long to do that. It should have been, they should have been on top of it, real early.
This should be wiped from all memory of Kiss fans. The fact that they're booking it again is just taking a Band-Aid and ripping it off now again.
No, it's not. It's business. Business has no
yeah, but okay, that's their thinking.
If a business development board in Dubai offers you X amount of millions of dollars to come out and advertise the show, to bring attention to Dubai as a tourist spot, as a concert location in an emerging market in a part of the world where these sorts of bands don't get to very often. Very few bands get to do that area of the world. You'll get the Foos, you'll get the Guns N' Roses, you'll get the Aerosmiths, the Stones. It takes a pretty big band to be able to go to these locations. So you have to separate yourself from the emotion of the whole Landmark fiasco, which is a completely separate thing, because I haven't seen a pay-per-view and a whole glorified package of trinkets offered. This is strictly a concert show. But I do think in terms of where it is located, yeah, it is a little bit of a slap in the face of, oh, they're going back there again. But then you just know that tourist board money, Messi's out of contract in football. And, a big player in that region is Saudi Arabia because of the amount of money that can be offered. And it's already taken Ronaldo out there for hundreds of millions of dollars. Money speaks. Money is the language of international business, and screw integrity, because that has nothing to do, especially when you're at the end of your career.
Well, I don't know. Honestly, I think that maybe we just don't think the same when it comes to this. I mean, there's a lot of things that Kiss have done that I would never do to my own minuscule fan base that they have no problem doing. So maybe they're just bad people, in my opinion, now, the way they are. I mean, if money is your only thing that matters to you, which I'm very sure Gene Simmons thinks like that, but if money is the only importance to you, man, I feel sorry for you when it's your time and it's done for you on this planet. I'm just going to leave it at that.
Yeah, but the clock is ticking to the end of the road. Now they're calling it the final curtain. I mean, God knows how much they're running out of branding opportunities here. What did they announce today? They announced 3 shows. Let me just fact check myself. They did Cleveland, Cincinnati, and Crandon International Raceway, which they then pulled back as apparently it was too early to announce that. That's early September. I had to look up where the fuck that is. I'm like,
Crandon International Raceway.
Yeah, so I have no idea on that. And then, of course, the 2 stadiums. Well, Coca-Cola Stadium in Dubai. It's only 17,000. That's nothing. But it does beg the question that these shows, why aren't they hitting some of those markets that they have never been to? South Africa was canceled years ago because of the COVID stuff. Gene Simmons, does Gene not have an emotional tug to play in Israel?
And people have played there.
Yeah, and I know that's going to walk them into a whole bunch of political issues with Palestine. But as a Jew coming home, to play there, I would have thought that he would love nothing more than to kind of come back to his country of origination and say, look at me, I'm an American icon, but I come from here. Okay, unless the money's there, I guess there's no emotion.
Right.
So, but again, Thailand never did anything. Singapore is an emerging market. Had quite a few bands going back. Going there, Def Leppard.
Yeah, hey, all you need to do is go back and look at the 5-year tour that Metallica did when they did the Black Album. Look at all the places they played. Okay, Indonesia, all these places that they went and toured. That I'm sure if they could do it, with their management, with Q Prime did back in the day, I'd like to think that, Mr. What's their manager got? Doc there. I'm sure that maybe Doc still has some connections somewhere to get them into some of these places. Maybe he doesn't, but I'm sure he probably does. But why not? You make a great point, Julian. I mean, a lot of these, like Metallica played a lot of these places. They played in Singapore. I remember there was like a big brouhaha about, telling James that he can't spit on stage because that's a finable offense in the country and stuff like that, right? And these places would love to have bands go in there. I mean, there was a great documentary about that, even just in South America, when they were talking about some bands rarely go to some countries like Chile and stuff like that, where they're just dying to have bands go there. So, I mean, if Kiss want to say goodbye finally to all their fans, why not include some of those places?
Move, there aren't enough there to justify it. They're going to go to Dubai. They're going to censor their lyrics. We're going to get, sacred goats again.
Sacred goats.
Why don't they just substitute Mr. Blackwell? Same freaking bass line. In essence, sacred goats. Thank God. And anything for a buck. All right, so that wasn't met with very positive response, but I guess online, there's been a lot of uproar about Australia. that they were just there and that now they're going back. But you know what? If they could put the asses in the seats, it is all fair, because again, these are all dates before Madison Square Garden. I will have a big problem with this band if they announce any gigs after Madison Square Garden.
They wouldn't. Would they really do that?
Of course they would. But they might wait for the new year and call it
Next year. Next year.
But
They say they have no intention of doing it. I don't believe a thing they say. I really don't. I just try and find some enjoyment of what they do say and what they do. I've got 3 gigs coming up. I'm going to Hollywood Bowl. I'm going to Madison Square Garden. Yeah. And then flying back and going to Aerosmith. You choose your poison. For the people who've all booked travel with Knoxville getting announced after the fact, they announce batches. They're really playing us for fools, though. But it's what the business does. They announce little batches. You think they're not coming to your area, so you make all these plans to go and travel. And then some of those things are refundable and some are not. And then they announce one closer to you. Oh, I'm going to go to that one too. And then they get one in your hometown. It's like, why didn't you announce all this shit at the same time? It's like you're moving the fucking goalposts on us, but you don't have to go to any single one of these shows. It's all a matter of choice. Or as Rush would say, Mark, if you have not made a choice, you have still made a choice, right?
Yeah, that's absolutely true. And then that falls back into the fans' lap again, which you have to ask yourself, look yourself in the mirror and ask yourself how many times you want to be played a schmuck. I mean, really, if you know that, exactly. That's exactly what I'm thinking. Good hell face there, a half face. I agree with you totally, because if you keep falling for that all the time, then you are a sucker. Okay, because these guys have next to pretty much openly admitted that they're just trying to get as much of your money out of your wallet with their fishing hooks there as they can before they call it quits. I would feel that would be insulting to me. I don't know. Am I really that different? People, please, in the peanut gallery here, please respond. Am I really the only one here that thinks that this is not right? I mean, are you one of those ones that are going to be like, yeah, I'll buy like 6 different shows, even though I only plan on going on one because they didn't, tell me about the other ones, and then they secretly had them already planned out. Are you falling for that? Or do you have no problems with that? Come on, I want to hear this.
Peanut Gallery is still fixated on other parts of the.
Yes, I can see.
Tim says, renewed my Kiss Army membership months ago. Still waiting for my T-shirt. Well, yeah, I think I renewed mine as well. You'll be waiting. I renewed my Aerosmith membership, and then they did a pre-sale, and it was open to everyone. So it was like,
oh, so that's what you get for it.
Yeah. It's like you get a pre-sale code, but then the pre-sale is it's just all open. So I think we're
crazy.
I think we are suckers. I think we still love this music. I mean, have you listened to Kiss this week? I sure as hell have. In between my Halloween, Rolling Stones, and Pink Floyd. It was a Pink Floyd heavy day today because I was listening to Pulse and Delicate Sound of Thunder. But I listened to Kiss. I listened to Aerosmith. I listened to these bands, so they're still very much a part of the soundtrack of my life. But it is hard not to think that you're getting played fiercely. And what's been announced this year? The Alive 3.
Live 3 coming.
Whoop-de-fucking-do. I mean, I bought the picture disc just because I figured I'd get one to keep someone from flipping it. I'm going to sell it on at cost to someone who missed out, and hopefully it'll go to someone worthwhile who won't just turn it around and flip it. But what the hell else is there? It's a desert this year of things. We've had a fantastic Off the Soundboard. Nothing else is announced.
That's a shame, though, to be honest. Hey, and thank you, people that are saying here, I'm with you, Mark. I hear you, Mark. I'm with you. See, okay, I'm not the only one. Thank you.
Right.
But
They're not saying it like you're a jogger who's fallen over either. They're saying it quite nicely.
yes, exactly. But yeah, that's a good point though, Julian, and I think that is sort of disappointing that for a while there it started to feel like we were on some sort of like good momentum with these releases coming out, the off the soundboards and these reissues or these anniversary releases, and now it seems like something just like a gate just dropped and everything is suddenly halted now.
I have to wait for Look It Up. I think there'll be something for that.
Yeah,
well, we'll see, right? So eventually, I hope, right?
40th anniversary, yeah.
One would hope. I mean, that's an absolutely massive.
They have to.
40 years of unmasking, of emerging from the lodestone that was the makeup with a really vigorously exciting album.
Mm-hmm.
One would think there'd be more than some guitar picks and trading cards.
I hope so.
Yeah,
oh,
we shall have to wait and see. You know what? We're supposed to be positive today because we're taken to task for being a bunch of negative Nancy's the last episode. And
yeah.
apparently we hate Kiss. No, we have opinions on everything. Just like any Kiss fan, we're going to call the good the bad, and hopefully. Some will agree and some will disagree, and that will
most of it's good
discourse. Most of it is good. I mean, come on.
It is.
Bought tickets to 3 shows. I'm flying to fucking New York,
exactly.
to see Kiss.
But having a comment that's negative or not positive is not exactly a bad thing, because there's nothing worse than a group of people that support something just stupidly with just saying yes to everything. Yes people, as they call them, yes men,
Kool-Aid drinkers.
Bands actually can improve by getting criticism levied towards them in a positive way. Like, I don't like this, I think you guys could do this, blah, blah, blah. It's not always in a negative light. People always shouldn't take it that way. Just agreeing with everything can turn a band very stale and make them do pretty much fuck all as far as development goes. So, I definitely think that, some comments in that light are needed sometimes.
Yeah, absolutely.
It'd be funny if they recorded Dubai and released it as an off the soundboard.
I we said that one time too, right?
That would be an insult.
All right, we do have some other topics from the board this week that are worthy of getting into. Mark, what are 5 Kiss songs that you think are worthy of more attention? And they all have to come off Destroyer.
None of them would be off a Destroyer, to be honest with you. But I do have my list of 5. Do you want me to tell you all 5 of them?
Yeah. Give us your 5, and everyone who's out there on the chat. What are the 5 songs that you think are worthy of more attention?
Okay, so number 5. I didn't really have them in numerical order, but I guess I could keep them in this way. It would make sense to me. Number 5, Tomorrow from Unmasked. I've always thought that song is a great song, and I don't think that it gets talked about nearly as much as it should have in the grand scheme of things. Maybe on here, we talk about it and say stuff, but I think within the Kiss community, many people don't even know Unmasked even exists, to be quite honest with you. So I think that's one song that definitely could have gotten a lot more legs if people knew about it, if it was talked about more.
Well, hold your thought there, because Tomorrow, I agree, absolutely fantastic. I think people should love that song more. I was translating a German interview yesterday, and Paul was talking about Vinnie Poncia as a producer, and was saying that he wasn't really a producer, he was polishing the songs. That was his responsibility more, and that's 1980 Paul talking, rather than anything revisionist. Ken, Tomorrow, you think that's a good lost song?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know I guess so. It should have been a single. It's that good. So I think
it was a single.
It was a single. Was it a single?
Yeah. It didn't chart.
I missed that. Oh, but it didn't chart. That's probably why I'm thinking that. But it should have been the first single, right? Instead of Shandy. But yeah, it's definitely one of the better songs that should be acknowledged. If a casual kind of fan only knows the the shout out louds and other stuff, you can turn them on to tomorrow and like, hey, listen to this one. This is a great pop rock song, catchy stuff. So
All right, Mark, continue.
Okay. Number 4. Now, this will be no surprise to most people, but again, I have my reason for it. Number 4,
Read
I put...
My Body.
No. Yeah. Definitely that's on the list.
With Tone Loc.
Yes.
Tone Loc. All right.
Yeah. Number 4 is Turn on the Night from Crazy Nights. I've said it before. This is one of those songs that the first time I heard it, and like I said, I was in California in a convertible car at night, and I thought it was the most perfect soundtrack to my entering California that I ever heard. And I thought that, that song always hit me here whenever I hear it now. And, look, when people talk about Crazy Nights, they talk about the title track. They talk about Reason to Live. And maybe for not the right reasons, they talk about No, No, No and stuff like that, right? So, but I think this song definitely deserves a bit more eyes on it. They did make a video for it, but I don't even think that people are too aware of that either. I'm not maybe diehard fans, but I'm talking about the people in general, that are maybe casual Kiss fans. I would say that that's one that needs attention. Want me to go to the next one, or do you have a comment to that?
Ken, comment?
No, I think it's a good pick.
Okay. Number 3 comes off of a record that I love and very much adore, which is Dynasty, and that's Magic Touch. Magic Touch is a song that I was shocked that they never played when they toured Dynasty, because I think it's a great song. It's definitely, yeah, there we go. Magic Touch is one that definitely could have did much more if it was more talked about, if it was more, presented much more. If they toured and played it, when you tour and play a song, that's when the general public people start going, what is this? I never heard this song before. And then they seek it out. It's happened to me lots of times when I went to live concerts. I heard something, I was like, wow, this is a really good song. What's this? And it's either I know this song, but it sounds so much better live, or it's a song I've never heard from another record. So it's playing stuff live helps. Okay. Number 2, Watching You. I've always thought that Watching You is a really, really strong song. But, again, it's one of those songs that kind of flies under the radar. When they did the reunion, I was surprised that they did Watching You. And to me, I'm not saying that it was, crickets when they played it, but compared to some of the other songs on the list that they played during that thing, I think that was one of the songs that people were kind of like, even when you watch the Destroyer tour, the Black and White tour, when they do Watching You, it's not like the most reacted to song, which is a shame because it's technically really good. The riff in that song is fantastic. That whole thing, even the solo parts, fantastic. So I definitely think that Watching You is one that needs more attention. And my number 1 pick will be no surprise, and I'm sure Julian will applaud it as well, being that he's a fellow Asylum fan with me. I'm going to say that King of the Mountain, one of the best opening tracks on an album ever. And again, it's not talked about because you talk about the singles off that album,
Well, actually,
Tears Are
people don't talk
Falling.
about Asylum much.
Yeah, exactly. But what they do, they talk about Tears Are Falling, All Night, and all those, Who Wants to Be Lonely. Now, those are all great songs, of course, but I think King of the Mountain, displays Eric Carr's fantastic drumming ability. It shows, Bruce Kulick as a fantastic lead guitar player. And it's a good written song, and it has some fantastic Paul Stanley singing in it. So, again, a shame that more people don't know this song. So those are my 5 that definitely need more attention.
All right, Ken, did any of those cross over to ones that you would mention, or are all of yours going to be Gene songs?
I don't know. I haven't done any homework, so I'm doing this off the cuff.
Good. Same with me.
Yeah. So all right, let's go. I agree with
Watching You is a great pick, by the way.
Yeah. I was surprised you picked Gene. So okay.
Come on. Good song's a good song.
Yeah. So okay, let's see. I'm gonna go through some. Try to pick some right now. One I'm gonna pick is one I'm gonna pick. It's kind of a song that, like I said, I didn't like it when I first heard it, but I like it a whole lot better now these days, and that's "Baby Driver." I just like that song a lot. I think
Ooh.
it's a cool song.
Didn't
I
see
like
that
it.
coming.
Huh?
I didn't
Yeah,
see that coming.
yeah. You didn't see that coming, did you?
Mm.
Peter Criss song. But I really do like that song. I think it's really, really
Didn't Gene sing
underrated
the demo with that?
on that. Yes, that's right. He did.
There you go.
Kind of interesting demo, that one. So that's one of them. I'm also going to pick, let's see, Almost Human. I really love that song. I think it's the atmosphere.
That props up on so many of your lists.
Well, I like it. That's cool. It's unique kind of song. I like the riff in it. I like the whole mood of it and everything. It's just kind of cool. So that's another one. I'm going to go with. I'm going to agree with Mark on Magic Touch. I think that's a real great one to pick. A really good one. And also from there, not from that one, but I will go. Obviously, it's Naked City. I mean, come on, it's just a fantastic best Gene song of that era. The 1979, 1980. And then I'm only going to go as far as probably The Elder. And I love Under the Rose. I just love the riff of that. Sure, it's way different. And it's all, the big vocal thing going on in it. But I just love the riff. And I like that song. Eric Carr helped with Gene and whoever else wrote on that one. But really, really cool song. I would have picked maybe because I think it's just kind of an anthem that's just overlooked. It's a great anthem that's overlooked. So that's another one.
That's true.
Anyway, I don't know how many I picked. So I just rambled off some real quick.
Yeah, and so I haven't done any homework either, but I see a lot of great comments from you guys who tuned in to join us live. Some great picks. So what am I going to plagiarize here? One that immediately comes to mind is Charisma, which is a song you can dance to. But I don't dance any more than I play basketball. So it's got a great kind of, it's got that hint of disco in it, but it's also got those roots back in Rainbow Wicked Lester era. And it's got, a good vocal. And you pick Naked City. And some of Gene's vocals on Unmask are actually really good.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he does sing Naked City very, very well, as he does She's So European. Unfortunately, that one's let down by some of his cornball, subject
lyrics.
matter. Yeah. Oh, yeah. The lyrics let it down, but he sings those lyrics.
Good song,
well.
though.
Yeah. What else would I pick? Well, you've already picked Tomorrow. You've already picked, Turn on the Night. I'm going to take you up on that extra song. I is the anthem that never was or could be. And even outside of the context of how it's framed within the Elder story or mystery, as it may well be better called, is it's a really positive anthem, but it's also out of time. If it had been a few years earlier, Kiss might have gotten away with that sort of thing. But in the 80s, when you had Motley Crue and the Def Leppards and the Judas Priests, Iron Maidens, you're just
Rebels.
Not going to...
Dangerous.
It's just a culture clash in terms of where it's positioned at that time. So it's unfortunate. AB. Yeah.
Talk to me. Mm-hmm.
Talk to me. All I want is a little conversation.
Talk to me.
I would love to pick that, but I can't. So, Larger Than Life, I will pick.
Oh yeah,
Nah, that's a good song.
absolutely.
But is that really one that needs more attention, or does it already have all that attention? I don't know. That's the difficult part
The
to it.
thing is, being a super Kiss fans like we all are, it's hard to pick a song that needs more attention, because we know them all so well. We've listened to them, millions of times, and so on. So it's really hard to, Exciter, like Adam.
Great
I
song.
mean,
Yeah.
that's one of the, you talked about, King of the Mountain is Exciter is one of the greatest.
Yeah, that's a
come
good
on.
opener.
That
songs
whole
of all
run
time.
of opening songs that they put on
They
the
did,
album,
they're on a streak there.
Yeah.
from Creatures, to Exciter, to I've Had Enough,
Yeah.
to King
Yeah.
of the Mountain, and
Mhm.
then the next one.
Crazy Nights is
Nights?
all right.
I think for my
Not
final
quite
one,
the same.
it's going to be a song that I really enjoyed in Singapore,
Mm.
in my prison cell in Southeast Asia, and it's Rise to It.
Mm.
Yeah,
I don't think that gets enough love. It's a bit of
good
a
one.
Cinderella clone, but it's also a fun song. Needs better production, better
Mhm.
recording.
Absolutely.
But it is a very cool song for my taste. All right, let's go into one of these other topics.
Mhm.
Well, since I've left us in the unmasked years, what is your favorite look that the band, and it's got to be the band, not an individual,
Mhm.
no cut and pasting.
Oh,
Favorite band
E-
look from the unmasked era, Mark?
Easily Revenge.
Asylum.
Well, while Asylum is my favorite unmasked album, I think the best look that they had was definitely Revenge. I mean, I remember when I saw the photo of them when we got the CD. Me and my friend Ted there, we went to his house and listened to it. We were like, wow! Like, I mean, the leather trench coats, and they were all in black. And Gene, grew in the beard and stuff like that, and the stash. So
goatee.
he started to look a little bit more Gene-ish, like demon-ish looking. That look really suited them. Whereas, there was some, other eras where some of them looked okay and some of them looked not so good. I mean, the Crazy Nights comes to mind. I mean, Bruce didn't look too bad. He looked like a nuclear technician at one point with some of those things that he had, all those nuclear things on him. And then Gene looked horrendous on Asylum, unfortunately. And those colors were just blinding on some of those outfits, But, Lick It Up, they had the kind of the weird nuclear fallout sort of look that they had then. But I definitely think that they looked the best on Revenge, and more importantly, I think they looked the most comfortable in that look.
All right, Ken.
Yeah, it's kind of difficult. I kind of go between the excuse me, Revenge and Hot in the Shade. I do like the Hot in the Shade look for them, more just streetwise kind of regular, but they're not dangerous in any way. I think they had more of a dangerous type look, which is more like what Kiss should be for Revenge. So I'm gonna say, I mean, they didn't need all the leather jackets and all that kind of stuff, but on stage they looked good for Revenge. I think that was a good look for them. So I'll go with Revenge, just a little bit over Hot in the Shade.
Yeah, so Hot in the Shade for me doesn't have a unity. Again, they're all doing their same
No,
thing.
yeah, that's true.
But in a different way, just like they've done with Crazy Nights, where you have Bruce in a suit. You've got Eric,
Right.
who's always wearing that army surplus jacket at that time. Then you got Paul
Right.
with knee pads, Marty McFly trainers or sneakers,
Right.
and a halter top. So completely whack. And then you have Gene. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's too easy to say Revenge because that's a very safe thing. Carnival of Souls also very safe because there was no look. You only have that one picture of them in basically street clothes.
Yeah.
In the studio. I do actually like the Lick It Up look. You
It's
know,
not
even
bad.
with Vinny's atrocious, ripped t-shirts, Gene was a little bit safer. Just leather pants or leather trousers and a shirt. It's just kind of rock and roll. Nothing swashbuckler.
Yeah,
Some of the boots were recycled from the Elder.
the only thing wrong that why I didn't pick Lick It Up is because on stage they were wearing the blush on their cheeks and some the makeup around the eyes kind of thing, which really I don't think they needed to do that. They didn't need that. Just keep it be natural on that one. It would have looked a little bit better. I would have picked it.
Yeah, come on, Paul in a nice jacket. Just off to the office to rock and roll all night. And the mannequin, of course. All right, so I think we got time for one more of these kind of board topics. Yeah, this is a good one. Your last 100% album. That is the last album where you think that there is no filler and it's all killer. A completely solid Kiss album. A completely solid
Mark's gonna
slab
pick Destroyer
of rock and roll. Mark,
no
what do you got?
filler.
What's all killer, no filler?
Well, that's really tough, actually. I mean, of all the things I did my homework on, that's the one thing that I kind of like skipped over because I thought that
Is there an album
it would come to me quickly, and quite frankly, I don't know that it would come to me quite quickly because I think about it. Rock and Roll Over, which is my favorite album, I can't say that there's no filler on that. To me,
what are you going to call filler on there?
I'm not too big on Love 'Em Leave 'Em, to be quite honest. It's not exactly the greatest song on there. So, and that's my dog snoring. If you're hearing that,
I was wondering what the hell is Shadow having a dream?
He's deep in sleep.
His headphones on, listening to Destroyer.
Yeah, yeah. But yeah, I mean, honestly, I mean that. I don't know if there's honestly, guys, and is this controversial to say this, but I don't think there is a Kiss album that has no filler on it. I think every album has filler on it. There is no album in the Kiss catalog that has no filler on it. Absolutely not, in my opinion. It goes back to the first record. You can't say that Love Theme from Kiss is not filler. Okay, and Hotter Than Hell, there's definitely filler on there. Okay, All the Ways filler. Yeah, for sure. That's I love the song, but that's definitely filler. And same with Coming Home or Mainline. That's filler too. Dress to Kill is a good album, but there's filler there too. Destroyer is completely filler. And then you got Rock and Roll Over, which has maybe one or two filler. Destroyer is all filler, dude. Come on.
I get the feeling this topic was just a
studio album.
This is come on.
Studio album.
Great Expectations is horrendous. Okay, terrible song. Love Gun is okay, but that has filler as well. Almost Human is like that. God Love for Sale is filler. There's not one album on this whole catalog that's not filler. I mean, the scary thing for me, I think so far when I think about it, the only albums I have maybe one or two filler on it is maybe Rock and Roll Over and Dynasty. And that's it.
Wow. I'm speechless. Ken. Save us. Voice of reason.
Yeah. I mean, I want to pick, Rock and Roll Over, but
Mark put you off?
It's either that or, I don't know. Yeah, it's Mark's fault. I'm going to go, and I talked about this album last week that I've been listening to it a lot, and I'm not skipping it. So I'm not skipping songs or anything. So I'm going to pick Lick It Up. That's going to be the album. I know a lot of people don't like the Gene stuff at the end, but I like that stuff. So that's my album for no filler. Maybe Rock and Roll Over too. Maybe I don't know what else.
On the eighth day, God created cheesy songs.
Cheesy song, yeah. Anyway, but yeah, I'll go with Look It Up for now.
That's not a bad pick.
Creature.
What about you,
Creatures.
Julian?
You say Creatures possibly too. I think
I'm curious to
around
see
the
what
same
Julian
era,
thinks.
you know.
Because there's no wrong answer. You know, what is the last 100% album that you love from start to finish? There is no way that you can break it down and say that Mark is wrong or Ken is wrong or anyone in our audience who's chimed in with theirs is wrong.
Yeah.
Mine is a completely emotional pick of what is the last 100% album, and it's the album that gave me the greatest pleasure, and it's my first album. It's Asylum for me, because that one brings me so much joy listening to it that I won't skip a song, that I don't have a bad opinion of any song, that there's nothing wrong with that album, that it is absolute perfection to me because it is my first Kiss album. It is the album that I bought right after, you know, really discovering the band, you know, and the last perfect album can be Crazy Nights for someone who entered at that point, or Monster, or Sonic Boom. There is no wrong answer to any question when you're asking people about their tastes or their opinions. And that's the important thing to always remember. Lick It Up. Yeah, I agree with Ken. That's a pretty damn good album. Now, for me, it's a 9 out of 10 album, you know, because
it's close,
but that doesn't make Ken wrong.
Yeah.
You know, same. I'm actually with Mark with Love Theme. Love Theme's garbage. You know, go look at Love Gun. Then She Kissed Me. Garbage. Tomorrow and Tonight. It's fun and it's catchy, but it's contrived. But someone else is going to say, no, that's a life-changing song for me that means something. So.
But I mean, but the thing is, though, if we're talking about albums that we feel are 100% because we listen to them from beginning to end, that's a little bit different than asking if the record has filler or not, right? Because we could still love the record and listen to it.
What is filler?
Well, a song that we think that's just not a good song.
It's a substandard song that is thrown on an album in order to make up the running time.
Yeah, but I mean, I love Asylum, and I won't skip anything on that, even though I think there's filler on that. But so, and if you were to approach it from that opinion, I would maybe have said Asylum as well, because I never skip a single song on that album ever.
Yeah, it should have been would have been better is what song would you take off of a studio album
that you think is perfect
that to make it then that perfect album. And like you said, Love Theme from Kiss.
Yeah, that could have made the first album perfect.
First album is, you know.
Yeah, that's
fantastic. True. Yeah. So things like that, you know, take off a song from an album to make it, you know.
It's almost like that topic where they said pick one song from three records you don't like. Right?
Kind of like that. Yeah.
Which we didn't get to, but there we are. We're at the point where I like to then go and get my dinner. So, you know, we've touched on a whole bunch of stuff today. Vinnie Vincent, WTF, you know, shame on you, Vinnie, for doing that to Scott. That is just uncool. You know, that is the one commandment that I try and abide by. Don't be a dick.
That's number 11, right?
Hey, it applies to killing people and adultering. Don't be a dick.
There you go.
Know, it covers every eventuality in life that you may encounter. Be cool. Don't be a dick. What about the rest of the topics? Again, that last one is very open to interpretation of what album you think is all killer, no filler, the last perfect Kiss album. You know, the last perfect Kiss album can be anything you want it to be. And the rest of the topics, you know, what do you think about all these shows continuing to drip out here and there? You gonna go? Does it change your opinion of things? How many of you like Mark's new t-shirt and think he should have to wear that every week now until it falls apart? Should I order him some extras to make sure he's always got a fresh Destroyer shirt? I think we should.
I don't want a blanket too.
All right, for everyone who's managed to join us live today in the chat, thank you for your comments. Thank you for watching us. And for now, that is it. So from Ken, Mark, and myself, we shall see you next time. Be well and take care.
Thank you for spending time listening to the KissFAQ podcast today. All sales are final. There are no refunds. If you'd like, look us up on Facebook or come over to the KissFAQ message board and discuss the topic we've broadcast today. Don't forget to rate us on iTunes, Spreaker, or wherever you've listened to the show. We hope you'll join us again.